There's a website called FKT, Fastest Known Time. It's a crowdsourced way to document who does which hiking routes the fastest. FKT has a page for hiking every one of the Adirondack 46ers. There's Ryan Atkins, 3 days, 5 hours, supported. There's Scott Beneroff, unsupported, a.k.a. bushwhacking from trail to trail, 4 days, 7 hours. And then there are the names of other people who have done it in the past, whose records have been beaten by the likes of Ryan and Scott. But there's only one entry for doing it in the winter: Mike Jaworski and Nick Glasser. Jaworski died recently at the very young age of 35 years old. We have his story on today's Story of the Day.
Support for Story of the Day comes from Pearsall Wealth Management at UBS Wealth Management USA, subsidiary UBS AG, member FINRA SIPC, 1 Broad Street, Glens Falls.
Hey, I'm David Sommerstein. It's Thursday, March 26th. First up, Governor Kathy Hochul wants to change the state's ambitious climate law, and advocates who oppose the move were arrested at the state capitol yesterday. The New York Public News Network's Sajina Shrestha was there and brings us this report.
State troopers began arresting advocates who had locked arms. The arrests came after activists blocked several entrances inside the Capitol, demanding Hochul walk back her proposal to make changes to the state's climate law. The 2019 law, as written, requires the state to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 40% from 1990 levels by 2030. Hochul announced last week that she would be looking for a 7-year extension on the original deadline and wants to revise how the state counts emissions. Assemblymember Sarahana Shrestha, a Democrat who represents 103rd Assembly District and attended the protest, said that Hochul's reasoning for the proposed changes doesn't hold water.
We are not sure why she wants to change it other than she just isn't committed to this. So she's using a lot of excuses like, the federal administration is unfriendly and so on, and we can't, meet this law under these conditions. But this law was passed in 2019. It was under Trump. This law was our goal before she came into office. So she should be ready to, to help policies that would meet these goals.
Hochul is looking to make these amendments through the state's budget process. For the New York Public News Network, I'm Sajina Shrestha.
Hundreds of thousands of people are expected to join No Kings rallies across the country this weekend. People will be protesting the policies of President Donald Trump again. In the North Country, there'll be rallies across the St. Lawrence Valley and the Adirondacks. Our news intern Richard Haller has details.
Since previous No Kings rallies last summer and fall, President Trump's policies have only further fueled his critics' accusations of authoritarianism. The Iran war, ICE agents killing Alex Preddy and Renee Good in Minneapolis, efforts to nationalize voting. In North Country communities, thousands of people are expected to show up at No Kings rallies to protest those policies. Demonstrations are planned for Ogdensburg, Canton, Messina, Malone, and Plattsburgh. In the Adirondacks, there will be protests in Saranac Lake, Indian Lake, Schroon Lake, Old Forge, Lake George, and Glens Falls. In Jefferson County, Watertown's No Kings rally will start at 1 in the afternoon. Isaiah Evans is an event organizer. He says he's expecting over 1,000 people to show up.
Well, I think a lot of us would really like to see the government, take accountability and, listen to the people in rural areas that might not be heard as much as people in big cities.
Evans says they want to push the idea that nobody is above the law, including the president and government officials. He says affordability is another big concern.
Yeah, well, one of the biggest issues I hear from people in this area is the economy, the prices of things, the gas prices have gone up.
Due to the ongoing war in Iran, the price of gas has reached its highest point since 2022. President Trump's approval rating has recently hit its lowest point ever. Poll averages show nearly 57% disapproval today. The No Kings rallies are planned for Saturday at different times in the late morning and afternoon. For North Country Public Radio, I'm Richard Haller in Canton.
Upstate lawmakers want legislation in the state budget to promote the opening of grocery stores in underserved communities. As Samuel King with the New York Public News Network reports, Governor Hochul has vetoed similar bills in the past.
The bill, named the Fresh Communities Act, would provide $10 million in loans or grants to help retain, expand, or build new grocery stores in underserved communities. Sponsors, including Assemblymember Al Sturpey of Onondaga County, say it will help fill a need in urban and rural areas.
Grocery business is a low-margin business for the most part, so they need a little help in order to come and decide to either establish a place or grow what they have already.
In the past, Governor Kathy Hochul has said this effort duplicates others funded by the state, but Senator April Baskin of Buffalo says that's not the case.
This is not double up bucks. This is not a SNAP. This is about creating actual more institutions.
The Senate has included the funding in its budget proposal. Legislative leaders and the governor are still hashing out a budget deal. In Albany, I'm Samuel King for the New York Public News Network.
A Washington County man who holds the record for an exceptional Adirondack hiking achievement has died. In 2020, Mike Jaworski and a friend thru-hiked all 46 high peaks in the winter in just over 9 days. Jaworski was 35 years old when he died earlier this month after a long battle with colon cancer. I talked with his friends and put together this remembrance. Nick Glasser was on a mountain bike racing team when he met Mike Jaworski through a friend.
Jeremy was like, hey, I got this young kid. He's a bit of a punk. Like, I think he'd fit right in. You should, put him on the team.
Jaworski was a mountain biker, a paddler, a pusher of physical limits, and full of energy. Glasser says after a grueling ride,
within 5 minutes, he's ready to leave. He's on to the next thing. That was his personality. And early on, he said it to me. He goes, I'll help you figure out how to get ready for things faster. And he goes, you can teach me how to chill out and be able to relax.
Jaworski met his wife, Amanda, at SUNY Oneonta. Eventually, they'd build a home together near her hometown of Cambridge, south of Glens Falls. He was always creating, tinkering, later making Jaworski invention baby gear for his 2 children. Wyatt Wessner met Jaworski through Amanda, and they worked together at BDP Industries, a machining manufacturer in nearby Greenwich. Wessner says Jaworski was a true mechanic and a problem solver.
As somebody who would create challenges and do them, figure out something that maybe nobody's done or something that he hadn't done yet, and to do it at his maximum capacity.
It was this quest for new challenges that led Jaworski to recruit Nick Glasser in January 2020 to tackle something that hadn't been done before, at least not publicly, a winter thru-hike of all 46 of the Adirondacks' highest peaks. Glasser says Jaworski wasn't a worrier and was undaunted by the technical and physical challenges that lay ahead.
His thing was get it good enough and push forward, and we'll deal with it if something comes up.
Things did come up. The snowdrifts and freezing rain were brutal. Glasser got injured early, but Jaworski kept him pushing ahead. 9 days, 8 hours, and 58 minutes after they started, they emerged at the Esther Mountain trailhead.
By the end, we were both, completely broken down. But, in Mike's fashion, it took him probably a month to recover, and then he was ready to do it again.
Just 5 months later, Jaworski and his cousins did an unsupported thru-hike of all 46 peaks in just over 6 days, a record at the time. Jaworski's diagnosis of colon cancer 4 years ago was a devastating blow to his circle. But Wessner says through chemo treatments and pain, Jaworski kept creating and playing.
He would just say, keep moving, keep working, keep being physical.
Jaworski died at 35. During the first spring thaw this year, when the maple sap begins to run. Nick Glasser says family and friends are planting sugar maples in his memory. He says Jaworski's wife, Amanda, told him,
that's Mikey. He is a sugar maple. That boy had sugar pumping in his blood all the time.
Jaworski's obituary says he didn't want to be defined by cancer or his life cut short. He wanted to live each day fully. Glasser and Wessner say Jaworski lives with them, challenging everyone to be their best. David Sommerstein, North Country Public Radio. It's me again, back in Story of the Day land. You can see photos of Mike Jaworski and Nick Glasser taken during their winter thru hike of the 46ers at ncpr.org. We have more news there all the time, of course. Music today by Eddie Lawrence of Saranac Lake and Oscar Sarmiento of Potsdam. I'm David Sommerstein, North Country Public Radio.